Moses describes God's righteous anger as a burning fire. And Moses references those who disobey God will find themselves in eternal hell. Now, this is the same word. It is used in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32. We have divided this out into the Song of Moses. Well, Moses is instructing the children of Israel to sing this song, and we're not going to look at the entire song. You know, I'll be honest with you, our songs are pretty short by comparison to some of the ones the children of Israel sang. But if we look at this Song of Moses, there's a stanza in here. It's broken into paragraphs, but really there's stanzas, just like our songs are broken into stanzas today. I want us to look beginning at verse 15. And Moses is warning the children of Israel about becoming comfortable. He says, but Jerishon grew fat and kicked. You grew fat, stout and sleek. Then you forsook God. Then he forsook God who made him. There are those in the world, and honestly, I think that's where we are today. The world around us has become so comfortable that we really, as a society, see no need for God. And so the world around us is kind of abandoning him. I've talked to a lot of people, and I know a lot of missionaries who have preached in foreign countries. And one of the things that makes the gospel spread so fast in places like the Philippines, Africa, is that it offers hope to people who have no hope in this life. They're willing to put their faith in something better when they have nothing here in this life. And so I think that's where we are as a society today, if you'll allow me to insert that judgment. But pick up again in verse 16. They stirred him to jealousy with strange gods. Of course, it's referencing God. People have stirred God to jealousy. When we forsake God, we serve something. Something takes the place of God. If we forsake God, sometimes it's ourselves. Sometimes it's an ideology. I think we see that in the woke culture today. We see an ideology that people are serving. We also see people who serve only their own desires. But nevertheless, the children of Israel, it is prophesied, would serve strange gods. They stirred him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations, they provoked him to anger. I want to insert here again, I'm not trying to take up too much time, but I want to insert, when our children do something that's wrong, first our heart hurts. And then when they continue to do something that's wrong, sometimes it stirs us to anger and we become angry with them. They know better than that. This is God. When we do something wrong, when God's people do something wrong, first it brings God pain. And then it stirs up the anger of God. He's done so much for them. Look at what the children of Israel, it is prophesied that they will do. They sacrificed to demons that were no gods, to gods they had never known, to gods that had come recently, whom your fathers never dreaded. You were unmindful of the rock. My Bible has capitalized the letter R in the word rock, signifying God. You were unmindful of the rock that bore you, and you forgot the God who gave you birth. The Lord saw it and spurned them because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. You see, hell is a place where God doesn't exist. Even though he's there, his presence in some form is there, it's almost an absence of God. I will see what their end will be, for they are a perverse generation, children in whom is no faithfulness. They have made me jealous with what is no God. They have provoked me to anger with their idols. So I will make them jealous with those who are no people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled by my anger, and it burns in the depth of, most of your translations will say, hell. It burns. The anger of God burns in the depths of hell. You look at Solomon, what he writes in Proverbs chapter 23, self-control and discipline will prevent one, or at least help to prevent one, from going to such a place. That's really a huge aspect of what's lacking in our lives today. We see something we want to do, we don't give a second thought. We go out and we do it because it's something, well, it's important to me. I'm so sick when I hear that sometimes in context where people are forsaking God and doing what's important. Yes, you're doing what's important to you. By default, we all do what is most important to us. And Solomon writes about child training. Begin with me in Proverbs 23, verse 12. Apply your heart to instruction and your ear to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with the rod, he will not die. If you strike him with the rod, you will save his soul from hell. My translation does use the word shield. But you're going to save us, when we teach a child right from wrong, oftentimes we think of that, we're doing him a favor in society. Not only that, we're saving his soul from hell. Solomon does say also in the book of Proverbs, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he'll not depart from it. Hell is real, and people don't realize it. Again, the word Sheol appears approximately 30 times in the Old Testament and refers to one of two places, either the realm of the dead or Hades or eternal hell. Now let's go to Greek class. Most of you know I like Greek much better than I like Hebrew. And depending on your translation, there may be two words that are used. Hell and Hades, I mentioned both of those a little bit ago. Now Hades it really comes from Greek mythology. It is a word that the Greeks used to describe the realm of the dead. Guess what? No surprise in that. And that's simply what it means. The place of departed souls, or the grave. It may sometimes be referenced as the grave. And, when we look at Hades, I don't want to get into a lot of this. The Old King James translates it hell. So your old Bibles, 1611, I don't have a problem with that as long as we, in our minds, understand that the word hell in the Old King James means two different places, okay? And so the Greek word Hades here means the place of the dead, the realm of the dead. When our spirit departs our body, that's all death is. It's a separation of body and soul. Okay? Our body, we know it gets put in the ground or it gets cremated, goes back to dust. Nothing to worry about there. However, the soul, who we are inside, departs from our body and it goes to Hades. If you're interested in it, you can look up in Luke chapter 16, beginning in verse 19. You will see a description of this place in Lazarus and the rich man. Again, I don't want to go there tonight for time's sake.